What up, guys? It is officially October. Oh my goodness. Where did this year go? Where did this year go? We got 3 more months left of this year. Oh man. So every October, there's this thing that people could participate in on YouTube, and it's called Vlogtober. And so, if you go to my Dap Troll YouTube channel, then you'll be able to see as far as all the videos. This happened to be day 2, and if you followed me last several months, I do a Talk About It Tuesday every Tuesday. And so I'm just going to take this video and put it on YouTube and whatnot. So this particular episode is called What You're Refusing to See. And I'm definitely going to get into that. But first, for anybody that is interested in things that are going on in space in the sky, tomorrow, October 3, if you're in the numerology, universal energy brings creativity and abundance and sets the scene for exuberant self-expression. But it's October's powerful one energy that holds the key to unlocking this month's blessings. This undeniably potent one energy explores you to revel in your authenticity, inviting those who know you best to meet the real, unencumbered you. Drawn on this romantic Venus begins its retrograde on Friday, October 5th, providing numerous opportunities to express yourself as the planet moves through 2 signs. The intensity of watery Scorpio forces you to confront more serious themes like sex, power, jealousy, and money, whilst the harmonious Libran energy opens channels of communication in the later weeks. Remember, in spite of this Myra themes this month, one thing is constant: unmasking the inner you, even and especially if it challenges the status quo. And that is from, I get this newsletter from Numerology, what is this? I always forget, numerologist.com. And so, yeah, we have a freaking Venus retrograde. And so from what I've researched from that, the last time Venus went retrograde, because it happens every 18 months, it was March of 2017. So if you look at some of the themes that were going on there and things that happened to you or that you did, that was kind of like, whoa, what in the world? That's going to be, I wouldn't say revisited, but you might see something similar. Around that time, let's see. Around that time, March. Okay, so March was the last month. March of 2017 was the last month I was working. So around that time, I had, because my last day of work was March 31st, I believe. And that was, my bad. That was a little bit before my 2 weeks was up. So when I had decided to quit my job, it was months and months, of course, of, thinking like, this is what I want to do. Actually, I had just gotten back from a vacation because the new year, my birthday is on January 5th. So I had paid time off. And so I was just all like, all right, I want to go leave the country again. I want to go into Mexico and Belize, and that's what I ended up doing. I had planned out prior that that's what I had wanted to do, and ended up, doing it. At that time, I was working my 9 to 5, and that's when I was able to really benefit from, being able to travel and have it all paid for with my paid time off, and still have a check waiting for me when I come back. Like it was dope, and that was my first time able to do that. Now, when I got back, I was just all like, man, I more than ever like do not want to be working for, anybody else but myself. And I didn't know when. I knew that I had one foot out the door, though. Like I was looking for a reason, pretty much to bounce. And so what ended up happening was, February went through, March went through, and then there was an incident at my job where I just, without thinking, was just all like, I I put in my 2 weeks. And so it's very interesting that last time Venus went retrograde, that's what ended up happening. And here I am at the, it's coming back around, and I'm just all like, whoa. Like I literally did not expect any of this to be the way it is now. Like within 18 months, I lived in 3 different places. I went from a long, serious relationship to being single. I went from living with my ex to living with my mom. I went from the security of a 9 to 5 job to the uncertainty and scariness of entrepreneurship, like all within 18 months. So I, a lot of people don't believe in, stuff that's going on in the space. They don't think that what happens up there has, any effect on us down here. And everybody's, right for their opinion. I just know for me, I've had too many examples where I'm just all like, yo, this is for real. Like, I can't even make this shit up at all. So, last time Venus went retrograde, there was some serious shit that went down. Like, my life is completely different from that last time. So, that's happening on October 5th, and it's going to be lasting until about November 15th. So I am, doing everything that I can to stay centered, to stay focused. A lot of that hasn't been going on, and that's the theme for this particular episode is, what you're refusing to see. We're in October, and so the example I'm gonna use is from a horror movie. Now, those horror movies. I can't. A particular one isn't popping in my head, but this happened in several of them. But you have the person who you're seeing it, and someone is killing people or someone is committing a crime, and the main character is in the middle of that, and he or she is just all like, yeah, this just doesn't make sense, but there's little subtle clues that's showing you who the real culprit is. And a lot of times that culprit is that main character. And so an example of that I can think of right off the top of my head was on, if anyone has seen Blair Witch 2, you went through the whole thing thinking like, yo, that shit is wild. This that's going on, those killings are going on. What, like, it's the ghost, like it's the fucking Blair Witch. And then, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Blair Witch 2, it's been out for like 10 plus years, so I don't feel bad for spoiling the fuck out of it. Um, but what ended up happening was they were the ones that were fucking doing the crime. Like, they were the ones that were doing the killings. And they're looking back at this footage and they're just all like, whoa, what the fuck? You know, and that's what the theme of this episode is. It's what you're refusing to see. What I have experienced as far as with those particular themes is aspects of myself or situations that happened where, I was trying to put blame on someone else or something else or whatever it may be. And, I've been doing a lot of inner work. So, if you don't see me out as much, if you don't see me posting, as much, which that's what October, November, and December for me is to get out of, um, it was and it is due to the fact that I am trying to just figure shit out, like with myself, and with doing that in meditation and kind of writing, reflecting, thinking, I saw that the culprit behind a lot of stuff that was going on was me. Like, and it's one of the scariest things that you can encounter is the fact that you have been self-sabotaging yourself in so many different ways. And what's interesting is that I do some research in um, herbal health and the ways that the body can heal itself, and just plant medicine, plant-based diet, things like that. And one of the little nuggets that I had found out from, if you know Dr. Savy, his stepson, which I'm a big fan of, KT the Arts degree, he was talking about how our intake of, there's omega 3s, omega 6s, and omega 9s. And a lot of times, the majority of the food that we're intaking and that we have, whether it's just available in the store or what, our kids eat, in school, a lot of it is super high in omega 6s. And so there's a ratio and of omega 3s to omega 6s that the human body has in order to maintain balance. And so when they did studies for people who were living the longest, they found out that it was a Mediterranean diet, and it was places over like in Asia, um, and stuff like that. But there was one study in particular that didn't have a aquamarine, a Mediterranean. It didn't support a Mediterranean diet, and their omega 3 ratios was off the roof. And these people were living like the longest. And so what they found out was there's a particular plant, the perilla plant, also ironically named the beefsteak plant. And what they found out was that perilla oil had a high ratio of omega 3s to omega 6s. And so if you're a person that eats meat, your regular ratio of omega 6s to omega 3s should be something like 1 omega 3 to 4 omega 6s. If you're plant based, it's going to be basically the reverse. It's going to be 4 omega-3s to 1 omega-6. Now, most Americans they have a ratio of like 20 to 30 omega-6s to 1 omega-3. Like, that's crazy. And you know, the thing is that what omega-6s cause, as far as if you have a crazy amount of it, is it causes schizophrenia, it causes depression, it causes violent tendencies, it causes inflammation, you know, fogginess in general. And so when you look at some of the things that are happening in America and you see how some of the people are acting, and you see as far as our interactions with each other and in our relationships and our partnerships and you know, our relationships with ourselves, it makes sense. And just because you're vegetarian doesn't mean you're exempt. You know, a lot of vegetarians, just because it's not meat, you are not exempt, because what are some of the things that we like to fall back on as far as vegetarians? Stuff like fries, stuff like chips, you know, those are all high as fuck in omega-6s. And so our ratio is all wrong. And so what I noticed with that ratio and what I felt like, you know, we refuse to see is that that omega-6 ratio that's causing all that negative shit is the same ratio that we put into things that are needed for us. You know, things that, you know, when we look at a ratio of something that's going to heal us or destroy us, sometimes that ratio of like the 30 shit that's going to destroy us to the one thing that's not going to destroy us, it's totally off balance. And so what I feel like what's helping me a lot is just confronting and seeing what's real and seeing what it is that I have, you know, control over. You know, what is it that I can do? What is that ratio for myself when it comes to decisions, when it comes to things that are good for me, you know? And there's several different ratios. There's like the 80-20 rule, you know, check that out if you haven't seen it. You know, it applies to so much. It's the rule of the vital few or something like that. Yeah, so with that, what I've been seeing more and more just with my own way of looking at things is I'm just all like, I'm becoming more quicker when it comes to being aware that I'm doing it. Because I will sit there and wonder, like, oh, why this isn't going on, why this isn't going on. And my ratio of things that I should be spending time on versus things that I shouldn't be spending time on is fucking off balance, like for real, you know. And I recognize that about myself, and I'm not gonna beat myself up about it, but I do have to be adamant and disciplined within myself to say, like, hey, like, you know where this leads, you know. And it's a slippery slope, because you like the sometimes we can tell ourselves like we're masters at fucking tricking ourselves. Like, we can talk ourselves out of all types of amazing things. Like, we are pros at manipulating ourselves. Like, that little other voice in your head or whatever is a freaking pro, but that's still you, you know. And what I've found is embracing those parts of myself, you know, I'm able to recognize and be like, okay, all right, this is where I need to change. You know, that's why you may see me like I haven't shaved. Like, you know, it's not that I don't care about myself, because I do. I'm just focusing on other particular things right now, the mental aspect of things, because if that isn't good, everything else is going to fall apart. Everything else is going to freaking fall apart. And, I am just trying to be the best version of myself in the ways that I know how, or that I'm at least that I feel comfortable, with doing, because we don't have a, a guidebook in this shit. We have self-help books, and we have different, things like that, and people can tell us, but we everyone's going to be different, so what I'm doing may not make sense to everybody. It may not make sense to those closest to me, but I am I'm working to be the best me, and so that's what this is about. So this is Talk About It Tuesday, October 2nd, which is also doubling as my Vlogtober video. And yeah, got some cool things going on this week. You can catch me performing at Limelight this Friday for the Rock the Vote. So if you haven't gone out there and vote, go ahead and exercise that. Because to me, so many things are different aspect, like exercises for all aspects of your life. And I feel like if you're able to vote, like just you doing that and realizing that it is a part of a bigger thing, and if you're conscious on who you're voting for, why you're voting, then that's going to have a little bit more, power. But that also exercises, you can apply that to aspects of yourself. Like if you're doing what it is that little thing that's a part of like the big thing, I feel like you can apply that, and you can do some amazing things. So yeah, rock the vote at Limelight this Friday. And what else? Light Labors is out, my album. You can download it for free, or you can drop a donation at mrcomposition.bandcamp.com. Yeah, follow my YouTube channel. There's gonna be basically like this, but every day this month, just Vlogtober, documenting what's going on. These next 3 months, I'm trying to, on sheer willpower and discipline, to put out a ton of content and just do a lot more, change that ratio up, do a lot more of the things that I love, and document and put that stuff out. Like I am into like a lot of shit, so I I haven't even been doing the foundational stuff, that is the main things that I do, which is write and make music. So that is what my goal is, to work on these next 3 months, just to end the year off, that I'm not waiting till that to be my New Year's resolution. Like I want to end the year off doing these things. So it's 3 months. Like I'm freaking out because it's already the second day of October. So yeah, just stay focused. Like stay focused. Just take a look at yourself and just ask yourself, like, what is it that you want, in life, for yourself, for your family, and take those baby steps. It starts up here, so just think about what it is that you want. We have the internet now, so you can find a gazillion ways on how to do that. And that's just what I'm taking advantage of, so I hope y'all are doing good. I hope y'all have an amazing October, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace.